Wow, right then. Enjoy the background footage of myself messing around with cards for however long it was. Uh, it's time, December 15th, there will be a ban list, hopefully, or no sooner than December 15th, there will be a ban list. As a result, seeing as this will be the first ban list my channel will be about for, I thought I will throw some of my own opinions into the ring. So, yeah, these are just my opinions on what could happen on the ban list. It's both I think it's a realistic wish list, and I will try my best to explain some of these stranger opinions here. Okay, so bans, pretty straightforward. Smoke Grenade, Linkross, and LP, because these decks have been around way too long. Smoke Grenade is degenerate. It rips cards from the hand and provides knowledge. This is something that is unhealthy for the game as it is. It needs to go. Linkross creates tokens. It creates tokens for free, and it is the card that is breaking Hulk. If you think Hulk is insane without access to Linkross, you are just wrong at this point. There are a lot of tuners out there at the minute that, you know, without having the access into Linkross and then into Metal Marcher, yes, they're one card Hulks, but then you have to find a way to progress without using the Linkross to actually get the advantage off of the Hulk Fibrax. So it kind of shuts the card off from being as generic as it currently is. LP is a hit to Dragon Link because Dragon Link has been, again, way too good for way too long. It's been a threat since I think around 2017 when we got the Guard Dragons, whatever year the Guard Dragons were in. Might have been 2017, might have been 2018. They've always been good. They've always been at least rogue. Most of the time they've been highly competitive. It's time to kill the deck so that other cards can come back, and so that dragons in the future are not limited to having their best cards having to be above level 4. Because that's the current state of the game. All good dragons have to be above level 4, otherwise they will be abused by Guard Dragon LP. Two other bans that I have are Union Carrier, because this is the problem. It affects game design. You can't create cards like Tri-Brigade Nerval, which just trigger once sent to the grave. Because Union Carrier will just slap them onto a monster, you'll link that monster off, and you will get access to the effect. It's detrimental to future card design, and the whole Buster Lock scenario, really bad. Pure Buster Blader doesn't actually play the Buster Lock, so if you get rid of Union Carrier, the card stops being used. It's not even played in Buster Blader, so if it's not played in its own deck, once you remove the access that other decks have to it, the card will stop being a problem, and that saves future spaces, because rather than hitting everything that Carrier ends up abusing, things like Mist Valley Thunderbird as well, you just get rid of the problem card, and there's no sort of future proofing that needs to be done because the card is just gone. Final ban is Wind Up Hunter, because Wind Up Hunter is the problematic card, and you will see that I'm putting Zen Matey to 1. Later on, I will explain why. I just think that Hunter is the problematic one because, again, it takes cards out of the opponent's hand. And that's it for my bans. Onto the limits, the limited cards. We have Misk because meme, Dragoon because, that sort of psychological effect of if you show Dragoon having been placed onto the ban list, people will start to not care as much about where it actually is because it has had so little of an impact on the game. Put it to 1, people can't use Magical Eyes Fusion and Red Eyes Fusion to abuse it. Like, they have to, they get 1 and that's it. For along the same lines, hit Red Eyes Fusion to 1, because let's face it, Red Eyes is not a deck at the minute. If you want to make Red Eyes good again, print them some more support. They're not good enough as is. Like, they'll need future support anyway, so just give them a new fusion spell. Red Eyes Fusion is insanely good, and the fact that decks can play 3 of it, hard draw into it, forgo their summon, decks like Guru, decks like Eldritch, forgo their normal and special summons, and just activate this card and get a free Omni Negate that also burns, so it's really degenerate in time as well. I think Red Eyes Fusion is one of the main issues, more so than Verte Anaconda is, because Verte Anaconda is stoppable. Red Eyes Fusion is a lot harder to stop. Like, I think it's only Ash that stops it, compared to Vela, Imperm, Ghost Mourner. There's a lot more ways to stop a Verte than there are to stop the actual Red Eyes Fusion. And also, it's, you have to at least commit resources to make the Verte. You don't have to commit resources for Red Eyes Fusion. You just throw it straight down if you draw one of your 3 copies. Limit Calamities. Calamities is really degenerate, and I wish it would get banned, but Konami is wanting to profit. Phantom Rage is still the newest set. The virtual worlds vomit out True King of all Calamities like there's no tomorrow, and so do Drytron in their combo lines. So two of the newest decks both abuse Calamities, so I think it is slightly too early. So if they put it to 1, that stops Virtual World from making 2, which does slightly nerf that deck, especially if you're giving them 2 E-Telly, like, I think everyone agrees is going to happen, so you'll see E-Telly on my semi-limited list. So I think if you limit Calamities, you stop the double VFD board, and it also kind of lets Drytron and Virtual World be good for at least one format, and then the next ban list, which I think will be after Blazing Vortex, that will be when they will finally get rid of the card. I've got Engage to 1, just to see what happens with it. You've got 1 Engage, 1 multi-roll, 1 Hornet Drones. They're basically just power 1-offs at this point. You can search it out and recycle it using Kagari Hayate, but that's a lot of monster effects that need to resolve in order to get access to this Engage, and you're not drawing Engage off of Engage, which was the whole problem with the card in the first place, was just how crazy it snowballed when you hit Engage off of Engage. So if you give them 1, we'll see how it plays out. Same theory with Masterpiece. After watching the MBT sort of Banlist tournament, Masterpiece really isn't as good as people are scared of it being. In this kind of modern format, you have to hard tribute summon it. The protection is conditional, and a single pop compared to Dragoon, which is an Omni negate. Come on, Masterpiece is a lot less degenerate. Plus, it sits in the main deck, so it's a brick in the main deck. And True Draco can't even abuse it like they used to because there's only 1 Dragonic Diagram. So come on, give the deck 1 Masterpiece, and we'll see what happens. If anything's really degenerate, you can always just ban it immediately straight again afterwards. Blaster, Dragon Rider of Infernos, stick it to 1. It's the next least bad, or least good, sorry, of the Dragon Rulers. It's the one least likely to cause any major issues. So limit that one. Definitely don't limit Redox or Tidal just yet, but you can definitely bring Blaster back. I think that card's fine. What's going to be using it? Salamangreat? I mean, sure. What other fire decks are there at the moment? Infernoble? Is Infernoble going to play a dragon? Level 7? They might play it. If they play a level 7, they can use it with Gemba, make Charles. Yeah, they might play it. We'll see what happens. They don't have access to Smoke Grenades, so you're giving them something back for the massive hit that is that they lose Smoke Grenade and have to end on a board of 2 negates and a pop, which is obviously a lot less impressive than 2 negates, a pop, and rip 2 to 3 from your hand. So I reckon you could stick Blaster back as kind of compensation. Harp, because Orcust has done nothing, it still bricks, it's terrible at the moment. Give them 1 Harp, see what happens. This ban list, I think, will basically just be, let's use January through to when we get the next ban list, February, March time. Let's use that period to just see what decks are too powerful when they have access to all of their cards. And then we will create, we had the monster ban list that ended the Eternal format, something like that, where, they're going to unban a lot of decks this format, and then the next ban list after this one, they will kind of use that, they will use the data from there as a balancing act to create a more fair and completely balanced game. So along with Harpgun 1, I've got Colossus and Stalio. Neither Thunder nor Salamangreat are doing anything at the moment. Stick them both back to 1. Electromite. Blazing Vortex has Metal Foe support. Everyone's seeing this coming. I wouldn't be surprised. Did the same thing with Bardish. And then Zenmaidi, because I want to see windups actually be able to do combos, which they currently struggle with because they don't have the access to the Zenmaidi. So if you give them the party boat and take away the thing that they were abusing the boat with, the card that rips from the hand, Hunter, I think windups could be a cool little combo deck, but I don't think they'd be degenerate. And that's it for my limits, I believe. I don't think I'm missing anything else. I think that is about everything that needs to be limited. For semi-limits, I've got... this is where it gets a bit debatable. I've got Call by the Grave and Red Reboot, because these cards are really, really good. They're really, really powerful, but as one-offs, they're just sacky. If you put them to 2... Yeah, I think these cards could come back to 3. We've got Harpy's Feather Duster, we've got Lightning Storm, both in the format. We've got Triple Tactics Talent, Call by, we've got Cross-Out Designator coming soon, so I get why they wouldn't want to unlimit call by just yet, because Cross-Out Designator would basically not sell as well if the budget players could just play call by. So, we may even see call by get banned, I don't know. But I'd like to see call by and Red Reboot 2, because I think that they are very important balancing factors in the game, especially with Eldritch, because Eldritch will definitely be getting a power boost from this ban list just by all the other decks getting nerfed. So having access to multiple Red Reboot would allow us to effectively counteract that deck, and would mean that deck doesn't become this all-powerful controlling force. Call by just stops the absolute barrage of hand traps at the moment. On top of a barrage, the next semi-limit is Zodiac Barrage, because as someone who has played the Zodiac deck with Tri Brigades for a while and has also played Pure Zodiac, Barrage doesn't actually get you full access to the combo lines to make Megaclops or to make the full Tri Brigade board just on its own. The card is incredibly good. It's insane. It is unsearchable, however, so I do reckon that Barrage could come to 2. No more, because at that point it does become an engine, but I would like to see what the deck can do with a second Barrage, and just see if it does push its way up to actually being competitive rather than just being a rogue deck. I would like to see the deck be meta, be competitive again. I think it got killed way too early in 2017. Dynamite Knight, because if we put Masterpiece back to 1 and Dynamite back to 2, True King's Return is still at 1, so is Diagram. The deck's not going to change in how it's playing. It's going to be just about as consistent. The only thing that you're going to have to deal with is more copies of Apocalypse on the field. Attack manipulation isn't that huge in the format at the minute, so, giving True Dracos access to that and then access to pops, it lets them play considering how much they were neutered on the previous ban list with losing Card of Demise and Diagram and all these other bits that they really relied on and no longer have access to. And then I've got E-Telly, because Virtual Worlds and Mutants both kind of, Virtual Worlds didn't fail, but I don't think they're being played in the way they were intended to be. And Mutants definitely flopped as a deck, so I would definitely assume that E-Telly coming to 2 would be a way that they would try and push that. May also allow Cosmo to, be at least playable again in 2021. The deck is quite cool. It's a very interesting deck. I know it's a fan favorite deck. And the fact that they reprinted Dark Destroyer in Gold Series along with Cosmo Town, that does imply something to me. I reckon we may be getting... Cosmo was a TCG exclusive deck, and we're getting 19 TCG exclusives in Blazing Vortex. I would not be surprised if the deck coming out either comboed well with Cosmo, or we would be getting some sort of new Cosmo support. Because, it's an odd choice to reprint, considering that the cards weren't that expensive for the older gold prints. They didn't reprint the expensive ones. They didn't reprint cards like Cosmojo and Dark Lady, so... I definitely reckon there's something Cosmo related down the line, and 2 E-Telly would definitely help that. Finally, for my unlimits, everything that's currently at 2 with the exception of Mali. This is really self-explanatory. Everything that is currently at 2 is completely harmless when put to 3. You could also probably unlimit a Hero Lives. There is some sort of degeneracy. I think there's an FTK with it, but are heroes really going to be relevant? They die to Nib, they die to Ash. There's a lot of stuff that stops heroes, so I reckon you can throw them this bone. You can give them 3 Hero Lives. If they draw it, they draw it. Yeah, that's about it for the ban list, I think. What I'd like to see going forward with the format is that we get a more balanced format where there's more sort of back and forth. I don't like this format at the moment because it is very sort of, I'm going to lock you out of the extra deck and rip 3 cards out of your hand. That's a really degenerate format. But when you look at the actual combo lines that people are playing, with the exception of Linkross, it's quite interesting to see the way that people are messing around with cards. And as you can see in the background footage that I'm using for this video, the deck that I'm planning to get a profile out for you guys soon on, the Unchained Evil Twins, the way that this deck combos, well, I was messing around with it, it's really fun with the way that it combos. I'd like to see decks that sort of play this way, and they mess around with their card interactions, and they have unique methods, and they don't always go the same way. This is what I want to see for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to see more variance in playstyles. I don't want to just see normal summon, full combo, linear, Hulk, Linkross, Metal Archer, You know, I want to see something new, I want to see something fresh, and I would take the guess that 2021 is going to start with a bang with a really diverse format where everything is way more powerful, and then once we get our first waves of product for 2021 and our first ban list in 2021, that's when sort of this massive ban hammer is going to come down. This is more so the calm before the storm, where you can play what you want, do what you want with it. You'll get this period of freedom, and then 2021 is going to be this big old reset where all the cards that, all the decks that you've gotten comfortable playing with, all your fan favorite decks, they're not going to go away, but they are going to lose some of that power, and they're going to try and push these new strategies. So things like the Spriggans, the Tri-Brigades, the Dogmatica, I reckon these are only just beginning to get their support, so I reckon Konami is going to be pushing them. I reckon the best way for them to push these decks is by hitting what is currently really, really good, and sort of bringing back this older format where there was a lot more variance in plays. You look at decks like Orcus, Salamangreat, Sky Striker, they're all very sort of intermediary decks. But yeah, they're very interaction heavy, and yeah. So you know, I think we're heading towards a very exciting format for one single ban list, where Konami can get a broader influx on seeing what these interaction heavy decks, Orcus, Sky Striker, Salamangreat, True Draco, Zodiac, Virtual World, what these decks can do. And then come February, March time, we will see a list where they sort out the wheat from the chaff, they pick out what is good, what is not, what is healthy and what isn't, and we'll get a very interesting format for the new year. If you enjoyed, as always, hit that subscribe button. Peace.